It starts slow, almost silent. A creak of the barn door. Cold hands breaking soil that's just waking up. While most folks are still thinking about spring cleaning, the Amish, they're already deep into the garden. Today on Rustic Plantry, we're stepping into that world. No loud machines, no fancy tools, just old hands, deep wisdom, and a whole lot of trust in the land. These are the spring tasks you gotta do before May hits. Or it's too late. Let's get into it. 1. Waking up the earth with bare hands. They don't use machines. Not this early. The Amish prefer to feel the soil with their fingers, cold, gritty, alive. It's more than a test. It's a handshake with the land after months of sleep. There's something sacred about waking up the garden with bare hands. Around mid-April, you'll see families crouched in rows, flipping soil bit by bit. No rototiller noise, just birds, wind, and the occasional creak of a wheelbarrow. They're checking if it's time. If the soil crumbles just right and doesn't clump, that's the signal. That's when the garden says, I'm ready. It's a quiet ceremony repeated every year, generation after generation. At Rustic Plantry, we believe this kind of work speaks louder than any modern technique. 2. Bringing out the seed boxes. Seed time is story time. The Amish don't just open a packet, they open a memory. Tucked in old cookie tins, wooden boxes, or hand-labeled jars, seeds are passed down like family heirlooms. Grandpa's beans, Aunt Martha's tomatoes. These seeds come with whispers of harvest past. And in the spring, those boxes come out on the kitchen table, usually on a rainy evening. Everyone gathers. They talk about what did well last year. What didn't? What might do better now if it got a sunnier spot? It's planning, yes, but it's also dreaming. Most of the seeds are heirlooms, open-pollinated, saved carefully year after year. No fancy charts, just wisdom, stories, and hope wrapped in brown paper envelopes. 3. Marking the garden rows by sight and instinct. There's no tape measure, no GPS-guided spacing. Amish gardeners step it off by foot, eyeball it, lean down low to check the line. It looks effortless, like they've been doing it forever. Because they have. They use stakes and twine, sure, but more often it's just a sharpened stick and a gut feeling. The rows end up nearly perfect, almost artistic. Every gap between rows matters. Wide enough for a hoe, narrow enough to conserve space. You don't waste soil here. You don't waste anything. That precision, it comes from doing it 100 times with your own 2 hands. We try to mimic that flow at Rustic Plantry, but there's something about how the Amish do it that always humbles us. 4. The first planting, cold hands, warm soil. The first seeds go in with fingers that are still numb. It's often early morning. Sometimes mist still hangs in the field like a curtain. They start with peas. Always peas. Then radishes, spinach, lettuces, things that don't mind the cold. Kids help too. Small hands dropping seeds into shallow trenches while older ones cover them gently with compost. It's not a race. It's rhythm. Plant, pause, pat, move on. If a cold snap threatens, they cover the beds with burlap sacks or even old wool blankets. The whole family watches the weather like a hawk this time of year. Frost is the enemy. Warm days are precious. You feel spring in your bones when your hands are in the dirt. 5. Fixing the chicken fence again. There's always that one spot, the place where the chickens sneak through. Every spring, just when the lettuce starts to sprout, the hens remember. And so, the fence must be fixed. Again, the Amish don't grumble too much. It's part of the dance. They walk the fence line, pushing in loose posts, patching holes with leftover wood or scrap metal. It's not always pretty, but it works. And while they're at it, they often build new chicken tractors, movable coops to fertilize parts of the garden naturally. Chicken manure is gold. Hot, rich, full of nitrogen. With just enough time before May, it'll mellow out and feed the soil like nothing else. It's messy, smelly, and completely brilliant. 6. Bartering for cuttings and starts. You won't always find Amish folks buying seedlings at big stores. Instead, they trade. One family's elderberry cutting becomes another's gooseberry start. It's a beautiful web of give and take. You'll hear horse hooves clopping down dusty lanes, a wagon pulling up with flats of tomato plants or boxes of early rhubarb. No money changes hands, just trust, reputation. Sometimes they write it down in little ledgers, sometimes they don't. If you gave starts last year, someone's coming by with extras this year. This way, rare varieties stay in the community, and nothing gets wasted. That's the part we admire most here at Rustic Plantry. Gardening as a relationship, not a transaction. 7. Hand weeding the garlic rows. Garlic goes in before winter. So come spring, it's one of the first green things you see poking through the straw. But weeds don't wait either. By late April, the Amish are out there hand-weeding garlic rows with quiet intensity. It's slow work. You're on your knees most of the time. Some use a small weeding tool, others just fingers. They pull each weed before it gets strong enough to compete. No sprays, no shortcuts. It's honest work. Garlic doesn't like competition. And Amish garlic, tall, strong, rich in flavor, earns its place at the table. Some even braid it and sell it at roadside stands in summer. But right now, this is the beginning. This is where the real flavor begins. 8. Planting potatoes the old way. Potato planting isn't just a chore. It's an event, usually a whole day set aside for it. Seed potatoes are sliced and cured. Rows are dug deep. Then comes the rhythm. Drop, space, cover. Straw goes on top, sometimes leaves. Some families even plant by the signs of the moon, waxing and waning, old traditions still alive. And it's not just russets. You'll find purple potatoes, fingerlings, buttery yellows. The Amish plant plenty because they store well, feed many, and go with every meal. And when May hits, they're already up and growing strong. There's a joy in knowing you're feeding the family with something so simple, so earthy. 9. Welcoming the honeybees. Come April's end, the hives buzz to life. Not all Amish keep bees, but many do, and they treat them like extended family. The first signs of pollen send bees to dandelions, fruit trees, early flowers. The garden comes alive with the hum, and the Amish know no bees, no food. So they plant early blooms on purpose. Calendula, yarrow, clover, around the edges where the bees won't be disturbed. Some families even place shallow dishes with marbles and water to help tired bees drink. It's these small things, the quiet care, that make Amish gardens more than just productive. They're whole ecosystems built with thought and love. At Rustic Plantry, we try to honor that every time we plant a seed. 10. Sitting on the porch, watching it begin. And sometimes they just sit. In the evening, when chores are done, families gather on the porch. Rocking chairs creak. The light gets gold, and they look out over that freshly planted earth. Rows neat, seeds tucked in, hope planted deep. There's no rush now, just waiting, trusting. The hardest work is done. The garden will take it from here with help from the rain, the sun, the good Lord above. And honestly, that's the most important task of all before May. To stop, to breathe, to remember that this quiet watching is part of the growing too. By the time May rolls around, the hard part's done. The soil's alive, the seeds are in, and the porch is the best seat in the house. That's the Amish way, slow, steady, and a little sacred. If you learned something today, or just felt a little peace hearing about it all, stick around. There's more where that came from. Subscribe to Rustic Plantry, and we'll keep growing the good stuff, one quiet season at a time.